Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. We've got a really fun build today. We are going to restore a Hot Wheels Spoilers Edition Sugar Caddy. This car was designed after a Cadillac Eldorado. Now this is a pretty cool car, and I like all the Spoilers Edition cars. They're my favorite cars out of all the Hot Wheels collection. So like I said, we're going to restore this car. We'll get it apart and we'll do the autopsy on it, and we'll evaluate exactly what we're going to do. So go ahead and grab your favorite adult beverage and join along as we restore this Spoilers Edition Sugar Caddy. I've already got the post drilled out. Now if you have any questions about how to take a car apart, etc., in the playlist on the how-to section there is a separate video on how to take apart a die-cast car. I'll leave a link at the end of the video for the playlist, but if you go to the playlist, that's where it'll be. The body's in pretty good shape. The hood is still there and it's not bent. There's a lot of flea bites on there, so we're going to have to fix the paint. Here's the engine. Now this engine is used in several cars, like a 57 Chevy and a few other ones. And the Seasider, it's also used in that. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. The body's a little bit rough, so we'll have to clean that up and polish that. And we'll have to replace the tires to make those look new. And then detail out the things like the tail lights and the front end grille. The windshield or glass is going to have to be replaced, and fortunately I already have that in stock. Here's the interior. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and move on. I always go to the dollar store and I buy a bunch of these containers. Now usually they're about $4 or $5 for a couple of bucks. I put a piece of tape on there and I label the container, and I use this to keep all my parts together so I don't lose anything. And here's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. Keep your stuff together, keep it labeled, and you won't misplace it or lose it. Here we're going to dip the body in the embalming fluid, and we're going to let that set on this tray that I have in the background. And like I've told you in the past, I think I picked up this tray at a thrift store for like 50 cents. But I've recently expanded to a larger cookie tray or cookie sheet that I use when I'm doing a lot more cars. But this is good for those single cars like you're doing here. Get it good and coated, knock off your excess or brush it off with a brush, set it on a tray, and then let it set until you can see that the paint stripper has done its magic. Let's let that set for a while.
Meanwhile, back in the graveyard.
Okay, let's do some polishing. I've got some flits on the engine here, and we're going to use the Dremel and we're going to polish up the engine. This isn't a necessary step, but if you really want this engine to look good, get that flits out and polish this engine and make it look super shiny. Now, the great people at Flits have a special offer, and this is for Diecast Graveyard viewers only, okay? Go into the comments section and there is a link to a website. Copy that link, put it in your browser, and go to the website. And you'll get 20% off any Flits product on the website, but you've got to use this link or it won't apply. Also, when you go to checkout, use the code word GRAVEYARD, and that will give you 20% off of any Flits product that they offer. What a great deal from the nice folks at Flits. I love this product and I stand behind it. Polish it up as best you can, and if you need a little bit more polish on there after you're done, put a little bit more on there and go back over those areas you think needs retouching. This will come out really nice. Now I know that these bases and things like that didn't look that great when they were brand new, but you know what? you can make them look really nice by just putting a little bit of detail and a little bit of elbow grease into your build. Now, when you go to use the Dremel on here, you don't have to use it at full speed. So be careful with that. Now, another thing, and I'm not going to put the little witch doctor back up there, is this stuff is good for plastic. Now, use yourself a felt wheel or something other than the cloth wheel that I'm using on the base. But the Flitz is great for polishing plastic. So if you've got scratches in your plastic windshields, etc., you can use the Flitz to polish that too. Now, the best part about that is yeah, there's plenty of fine plastic polishes out there. But if you don't have to buy extra materials and use the stuff that you currently have, you're saving money, and the polish works great. So something else to think about here. Use the Flitz to polish your windshield, but just use your Dremel on low speed and use something like a felt wheel or a cloth, not a cloth wheel, but something that is not going to have these cloth fibers. I'll go over that in a later edition, but it works great on plastic too, folks. Man, this base is looking sweet. Let's go ahead and wipe the excess off. Now later on, you can go back in with your degreaser and scrub that down with a soft bristle toothbrush and get all the little accumulated flits that's in between the letters and stuff like that. And that'll make it look really nice. Man, this is turning out awesome. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step. Okay, here we got the base all polished. Let's go ahead and replace the wheels. These are cap style wheels. Now I've got 2 large meats for the back and 2 medium meats for the front. Take your razor, slide it over to the edge, work your razor in, give it a small twist. Now I got these wheels at the Redline shop. John has fantastic products for your restoration needs of your Redline cars. They've got paint, they've got the wheels, they've got decals, and a bunch of other products that you can use for your Redline restorations. So go check out the Redline shop at www.redlineshop.com to get your stuff to restore your Hot Wheels. Now here I accidentally grabbed a deep dish cap wheel, so I'm going to have to get another regular one for that. Now the deep dish wheels look cool, but I didn't want to put them on this particular restoration. Okay, now we're going to polish up the body, and here again I've used an abrasive wheel to get the toning off the car, and I'm going to use the Flitz again to go ahead and polish up the body. Now these cloth type wheels with the layers are really good for the metal pieces like that. Again, you want to use like a felt type wheel or something along those lines if you're going to polish your plastic or your glass or something like that. Just please be careful and don't use a super high speed setting because you'll burn it, especially the plastic, I mean. Now when you're going to polish something like this, make sure you hold down the hood. If you don't hold down the hood, that wheel, when it's spinning, will grab a hold of it and snap it back and break the pins off, and you won't have a hood anymore. So take your time, hold on to the hood when you're polishing so it doesn't snap back on you and break. Wow, that's the 3rd tip today. This is good stuff. You get to learn all kinds of things in these videos. Now the reason I tell you about these products, folks, is that these are the things that I use. And if you're just starting getting into the restorations and the customizations and stuff like that, I'm hoping that when you watch these videos, you say, hey, look, this is what Paul uses, or this is what Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, or Xavier from Diecast Show Customs, or Jeff from 164 Revival, Paul from Fat Guy Productions. This is the stuff they use. And it is, okay? So we try and save you the trouble of going through and finding things out on your own. Now there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you find something that you like and it works and it sticks and you stick with it, do it, please. If you do have another alternate way to do this stuff, leave a message in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'm always willing to try out new products. But after I've tested a whole bunch of different things over the years, I try and stick with the ones I know work. Alright, here we're using Spectre Flame Green. Now this is the color that was on the car when we stripped it down. So this is why I'm going to redo this color. I got the Spectre Flame paint from the Redline shop. Now the ratio for mixing this paint is 5:1. 5 parts paint, 1 part activator hardener. Now you can measure out drops and stuff like that, which is probably the most accurate way, and keep track of it in your head, how many drops you use in your pipette or something like that. But this is something that definitely I will cover in a future video when I go to explaining paints. Go ahead and apply a tack coat or a mist coat on your car. You don't want to spray too much paint on it initially because it'll run, and you'll have to do your paint job all over again. Make sure that you cover it really well and do nice long strokes down the length of the car. Don't just spray tiny little spritzes and dibble dabbles, as I call them, okay? Get all the hard to reach spots up inside the car, up in the fender wells, up in the body, etc. That way there, if you're looking inside the body, you won't see bare metal or paint from your old paint job. This is turning out sweet. Very, very nice. Now, green isn't my favorite color. It's nice, but I wanted to restore this the original way. That's looking really, really good. I think what I'm going to do here is let this set for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to come back in and hit it with some saturation coats. Now don't forget, the more paint you apply, the darker the color is going to get. It's a layer of candy. And think about it as looking at it as panes of glass. If you keep putting layer upon layer upon layer of panes of glass, it's going to get darker and not let the light through. Here's the body. Man, that Spectre Flame Green turned out beautiful. That looks fantastic. Here's the base with the brand new wheels, the cap style wheels from the Redline shop, and the bottom of the car polished with flits. Here's the old windshield all cracked up. Here's the brand new replacement. I got that on eBay. Here's the interior all cleaned up and ready to go. And here's the engine all polished up. Let's put it all together and have our reveal. And here's what we started with. A Hot Wheels Sugar Caddy from the Spoilers series. We took the car apart, we evaluated the parts through our autopsy. We figured out that we needed a new windshield, we needed to replace the tires, and we needed a new paint job, and then we had to polish up the tarnish on the old parts there, the silver parts that are showing. So we did everything. Like I said, we took it apart, we polished it, we painted it, we replaced parts, and man, I'll tell you, the results that we have come up with for this car are absolutely beautiful. Now, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I read every single question. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If there's something you don't like and you leave a thumbs down, just do me the courtesy of telling me what you didn't like. I'm a big boy, I can take it, all right? Just let me know what you don't like, so if there's something I'm doing wrong, I can fix it. And here's what we got to. Look at this beautiful restoration. It turned out fantastic. I really like how this turned out. We detailed the taillights. We detailed the front end with semi-gloss paint. Now, I'm not crazy about the way the front end looks with all that black on there, but you know what? That's the way Hot Wheels did it, so that's the way I did it again. They used the flat paint. I used semi-gloss, but that's my choice. But we put those beautiful wheels on there from the Redline shop. We polished everything up with flits and put that beautiful green Spectre Flame paint on there. What a fantastic job. I'm really happy how this turned out. Like I've said in the past, folks, you can do this too. Now, if you guys are still using spray cans, which isn't bad, think about getting into using an airbrush. I've got some really good alternatives for airbrushing and a lot of stuff from spraygunner.com. They make some fantastic and sell fantastic brushes. So check out spraygunner.com for all your airbrushing needs. I know I speak a lot about the different places that I get stuff from, but you know what? These folks support me, and I want to return the favor to them by telling you where you can get fantastic supplies. My name is Paul with Diecast Graveyard. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and cheers.